Hello and welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. Well, let's take a look at Vandenhull, also known as VDH. So I would say it's mostly a low-class cable. Some of the bigger cables probably go up to almost mid-class, I would say, mid-class. Plus, yeah, definitely the Clearwater speaker cable that they made. I think they still make it. It's pretty good for the price. Also the 200, what's it called, 101, 102 RCA cable, good value. It's this one here. I think it's probably the most sold RCA cable. Yeah, just good value. A lot of people use it when they start in hi-fi. So I also want to mention the old big model they had, the Vandenhull the third speaker cable, which was made out of carbon, really thick, came in a suitcase. Really warm analog sound. Of course it was tonally imbalanced and a bit heavy, but very interesting, very interesting. Special type of sound that I think a lot of people would like. Very overly warm and kind of cool. I wish they still sold that one, because it looked pretty awesome and sounded, yeah, very interesting, very unique. And also have to mention the Revolution and Revelation cables, also pretty pretty decent value. Has a certain type of unique sound, and yeah, I think a lot of people would really like that. Would those say it's a lower compensation type of sound in general with Vandenhull, where it clearly does something to the sound. So I think a lot of people just buy Vandenhull so they don't have to buy an amplifier, DAC, CD player, speaker, whatever. So they don't have to use that extra money simply on that. And I have to say that it actually makes a pretty big difference. I just don't like the difference that it makes, but it's without a doubt one of those cable manufacturers that clearly makes sound differences. Whether you like it or not, that's just like a separate thing. But yeah, let's go on to the minute size of Vandenhull. And yeah, where do I start? Because we keep talking about neutral cables. Every manufacturer say, oh, they have the most neutral cables, and I have to say that Vandenhull definitely not. There's some lower level coloration, lower level way of dealing with stuff. I think most people, new people coming into hi-fi, I think they would actually like that. You just realize that once you've been in the game for a while and you've tried basically all the cables out there, you just realize that this is just the lower quality cables that are made on the market. It's as simple as that, and it's just so many things to talk about. I mean, tonality issues, space issues, clarity, separation, realness, that real grunt bites, especially instruments sound off, suppressed, managed too much fat in the sound. It just feels like it's like not the ideal way of solving true problems. And for me, it just feels like unclear crystal that is not a very pure product, and the plugs sadly also has a huge part to do with it. Like most manufacturers, they don't use enough money on the plugs. I feel there's a big problem in general, like with a lot of brands. It's almost as if they don't really believe in their own sound. When you look at cable manufacturers, it's almost as if they just don't believe in plugs. They just don't believe in pure materials. It's as if they're only there to kind of provide a solution for a lot of different people so they can sell a lot of different stuff. And I clearly feel that with Vandenhull. It's just, for me, it just feels like one of those companies that don't even believe in their own products. I could be wrong. I could be too harsh. I've just owned a lot of Vandenhull. It's just one of those most known lower level brands that everybody basically gets to try, like owning Denon equipment, or owning a lower level Yamaha CD player, or a lower level, I wouldn't say NAT, but lower level B&W speaker. It's one of those things everybody just kind of ends up trying and moving away from. It's my personal opinion, but it's mostly because of that lower level moldy type of warmth that I think that a lot of cable manufacturers they give without really realizing it. So when I'm buying a Fender Hood cable, I always feel that it's so close to these eBay copy cables that I just can't be bothered. And like I've written here, this cable here, like I've written, I think the standard is so bad that, copy eBay cables, especially the 102 cables that gets copied, and the Magnum speaker cables that get copied on eBay, I think that they basically sound like the real thing, and that's pretty bad. It might be a slight difference, but it's not a huge difference. So, with brands like Cardis, AudioQuest, and upwards, they just kind of have a standard that's higher than Fender Null, in my opinion. And because of that, you can always tell a difference between what's a copy cable and what's not a copy cable. Same with O8 plugs. You notice that most times there. And Furtek, no, because Furtek is also China-based. And it's a bit of a different story with Furtek, because there are a lot of people in the world buying copy Furtek plugs, and they actually sound quite good. So I'm not encouraging people to buy copies. No. I'm just saying that beware. The normal plugs that you buy off eBay, they usually are copy plugs, especially from Furtek. And yeah, a lot of companies also copy Cardis, AudioQuest, especially Fender Null cables, and they typically go for the older models, so you can't compare it to the new stuff, to kind of cover themselves. And yeah, just remember that it's easier generally to copy a sound that is more forgiving, so you can't really compare it to the real thing, also if it's an older model, like I just said. And this is just me writing it as a kind of a warning to prevent this from happening, because, man, I bought a lot of copy cables, copy plugs, because I thought it was the real thing, and it's always moldy. It's always this insincere, closed in, unstable type of thing that's a bit of everything. So you kind of want to avoid that, so always buy your cables from an authorized seller. So yeah, that's kind of what I have to say, and remember to like and subscribe. Bye.